Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Um, First off, I had to. This is the second time reviewing it because well, I got about halfway until a little mishap though, so I had to start all over though. But hopefully that won't cause any problems this time. But what I was doing, both said welcome back to another movie review, and for this movie review, I am getting to another family film that I was reviewing, and which I was till I had a little mishap though, but or and which is film I liked, and watched a couple times, back in years ago. I have it on the old VHS tape, um, which is reviewing today is called Paulie, which came out in the year 1998, and which is of course the film centers around with this parrot named Paulie, which is probably the most common name to name a parrot, or any parrot. And the film came out. It got mixed, mostly positive reviews. It has a 6.4 on IMDb and has a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes. Which is then made 26 million domestically, and I think it was a budget on 23, so it barely made it over. So it'll make a modest success in the United States. So that's probably a decent thing, And overall I like the film, because I always like the film, because I already said before, I watched it back in the day, when on my old VHS tape, when it watched it a couple times, and it's a film I like to see worth watching again, and the guy who voices Paulie, Joe Mohr, in which he also has an on-screen human character as well, so he does two parts, he voices Paulie, and also plays a human character as well, which is only a minor, because he sees human character in one scene, and then later on in the film, he does a pretty decent job, and I've seen him in another film, which was in Small Soldiers, the movie Small Soldiers, where he's plays the character there where he created the Commandos, So he did a pretty good job as the voice of Paulie. And the film also stars Tony Shalhoub, which he starred in the show. Everybody's well known for the show Monk, And he's been in a lot of other films, which, naming a few, I've seen him in recently, he was in 13 Ghosts, he was in Pain and Gain. Of course, he voiced Splinter in the new Ninja Turtles 2014 film, which I'm not a fan of. I've already said that before, but he voiced Splinter, just to point out if anyone didn't know. But he's been in a lot of other films, and I like him as an actor, Tony Shalhoub, and probably mostly like him as famously known in Monk, but in the film, starting the name of the film, Tony Shalhoub, he plays a guy named Misha. He's a Russian immigrant. He's from back in Russia in his home. He was a teacher, when he came to America and looking for a job, and he landed himself as a job as a janitor in this animals testing lab, and the guy who was showing him around, which is another guy that I know as an actor. He's been a few other films, but mostly in minor roles though, which is Bill Cobb's. Probably he's been mostly in minor characters in the films, but mostly maybe well known playing in Air Bud as the former basketball player, So I recognize him, and he's in it for just for a little bit. He's showing him around the building where to clean stuff, and when you go downstairs in the basement, they see Paulie in a cage, Bill Cobbs tells him he isn't, just stay away from him. He's not much to talk about, And so when Tony Shalhoub is working around, he hears like in the hallway, he hears something coming from the basement. He hears a voice, and when he goes down there, he sees Paulie singing, about Maria, And when he freaks out, he gets the people, most of the people in the running, like the head of the building and some other people. They see he's telling them he talked to them and went down there and he's not talking at all. So they think that he made the whole thing up though. But because we wanted to bring everything up because he's a talking bird, which I'll get to later though. So when they leave, he goes and looks up but like when he's cleaning the office, he finds a book about birds, the type of bird which is blue crown condor or how that last name is pronounced though. Shows that what kind of food that is alike, that he does like, like things with some fruits and stuff, bird seeds and stuff like that. So he goes down there and goes back down to the basement and he starts having some like a lunch or something. Then he starts talking again. Gives him a piece of where I forgot what it was, like fruit I think it was, because I think they're on a mango. So he starts speaking. He just wants to tell him his life story, how he ended up there, and he's like, oh, my story's long, you don't want to hear it. And Tony Shalhoub's like, I'm Russian, I like long stories. So he tells them that it all started with his former owner named Maria, who was this little girl, and her she's as a little girl, Maria, she was a little girl who stuttered a lot, trying to, like sometimes I do, sometimes I stutter sometimes though, but her grandfather comes on and gives her like gives her Paulie, when he was a little more baby, and which this whole film is like mostly one big flashback until the end, but and as he got bigger, and also her father comes in because he's a soldier. He just came back home, and later first Paulie didn't speak though, and Paulie narrates throughout the whole story, also too. And Maria's mother and father try to get her to speak out words, and holding up cards of words with pictures on it, it's like, or like, I forgot what it was, but like flower or bird, and then once it says cup, and she still can't say it. Then as the parents go off and talk a little further in the kitchen, Paulie just goes straight up and says to Maria, cup, and then she starts saying the words, It's basically like what he taught her to start speaking the words, and then he started, because talking, what's so hard about it, I wanted to learn more, He said, oh, which is the final like I think so. I don't believe it. It only took one word, and then they all shut up, I thought that was kind of a fine line. It only took one word, and they all shut up. And he wanted to learn more, so he starts to tell Maria, what's this and what's that, like, what's that? Oh, that's a fence. Ooh, that's a fence, so give me some of that. Oh, that's a chair. And then, like, what's that? That's a rock, and she lifts up, there's bugs underneath, it's like, ew, bugs, and he goes, don't mind if I do, and starts eating some, And the father comes in, and Murray's saying, Paulie's teaching me, and the father's like, birds don't teach, So, and then sometime afterwards, she the father really clearly doesn't like the birds, so he wanted to make her forget about the birds, so he goes and brings in a cat, and so when they bring the cat in, it's like, probably like, what? Oh, no, he's like, no, bad idea, So he doesn't like the cat, and since then he has to stay like up and high to keep out of the cat's reach, and until one day, well, before that, what was it? Well, I forget it was either like before or after, like the scene where he's on a co-rack and he sees the cat, and he starts mocking the cat, which he says as he's telling the story, he's like, This is the one moment where I should have just kept my big beak shut, you know. So he starts mocking the cat. Yeah, kitty, 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 you know. Cat starts attacking Paulie, makes a big mess, you know. And then apparently they blame it on Paulie, you know. And then later on in the night, yeah, this is what happened next, in this order. Um, Later in the night, Paulie wanted to he first he didn't want to fly because he didn't like flying though, and he was outside and one thing leads to another that almost causes Maria to fall. Either it was off the roof, that's what it was, because she wanted to get Paulie and she almost falls off the roof, you know, and that was the last straw. So the father took Paulie away and she starts running after Paulie. He's like, Paulie, Paulie, I love you, Paulie, you know. Then it cuts back to Tony Shalhoub with Paulie, you know. So then, well, into the next flashback afterwards, you know, he's now in this pawn shop, you know, in a cage, and this where you get a small appearance by Buddy Hackett, you know. May he rest in peace, you know, Buddy Hackett. And it's also when Paulie learns that song, "What's New, Pussycat? Whoa, 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 whoa." You know, he starts singing the song, and Buddy Hackett's like, "Shut up, you goddamn bird, shut up," you know. Maybe you're getting a little too comfortable in there. How about like put you in like a nice toaster oven, you know? And like, oh come on, what's the character's Buddy Hackett's name? Artie, you know. Why don't we go forget what place it was? Cause I'm bored, you know. And then the human character that John Mohr, who voices Paulie, his human character comes in, you know, and then and also which Paulie has also learned to learn how to do some couple of insults, you know, and he starts I forgot what was that what they said to him, and John Mohr is like the human character named Benny. It was like, he's like, oh, that's funny. If you teach him that, you know. And he's like, oh no, hey, you're ugly. He says, I think he said you're ugly. He's like, oh, that's funny. You teach your bird to insult your customers? No, I learned that all by myself, you know. And then the old lady named Ivy, played by Gena Rowlands, she comes in wanting to sell something, you know, and the Paulie goes says, question is, how much do you want to get for that flower pot on her head? It's like, oh, now that was very rude. Did you teach him that? No, no, no. That's the thing. The dirty mouth's all his, you know. And so he goes and takes Paulie in, you know, and yeah, she has her for a little bit, you know, and he tells about Marie, you know, and they go to the old house, which it's empty, nobody lives there anymore. So they look up on the phone book, see where she's at, you know, and forget where if they're someplace else far away. So they decide to go across country to an RV, you know. So they're driving along a ways until one day they're singing What's New Pussycat, and think they blew a tire, you know. I forgot, they blew a tire, and then they're at this little place, like an RV park, you know, and the reason why they the reason why they didn't blow a tire is that Ivy, she started she's since, you know, old, you know, she starts losing her sight, you know. That was the reason. And they caused I think we might have blown the engine on another RV. There wasn't a blown tire, I think it was. So, but soon after they're at this little RV park, and then she's going blind, you know, losing her sight, and then soon afterwards dies off screen, you know, from, I guess, old age, I guess. So now without her, you know, Paulie's all by himself, so he decides he starts flying, you know, he learns to fly all on his own. He flies all the way to, which the way they were, the city where Maria's moved on to is Los Angeles. That's where he's heading to, you know. That's where it was. So he gets to Los Angeles, you know, flies all the way there, and he meets this parrot right here. But he doesn't know it's a parrot that repeats back words, you know. Like, I like you a lot, and I like you a lot, you know. And then The parrots are owned by what you can see right there, Cheech Marin. You know, him and his performing act of singing birds. You know, and then John Mohr's character, human character, comes in, and he kidnaps Paulie, and then it teaches him how to be a thief. You know, like start taking money, stealing money from ATM machines. You know, and learns they tried to steal something in a house. You know, when something goes like he gets caught though, and Benny abandons him, runs away. You know, and he gets captured by the family, and then they take him to the Animal Institute. You know, and like the head of the institute, where's that guy played by Bruce Davison. I know recognize him. He was an X-Men. He was in the first two X-Men films. He was Senator Kelly, I think it was. The comic book character Senator Kelly. Yeah, I think there was that character's name. He was in the first two X-Men films. He was in the first film where Magneto made him into a mutant, you know, where he disintegrates into water, you know. That's the guy who played the senator in the first two X-Men films, you know. He's the guy who runs the animal research, whatever. You know, he starts teaching once, you know, learned how bring the barriers between human and animals, you know. Starts, you know, he promised to find Maria and speak and tell her, you know, which he overhears which he have found where Maria is, but decides not to tell Paulie, you know, because he wants to keep him there, and this upsets Paulie, so he starts which he puts out in front of a group of people, you know, starts mocking them, you know, like, probably want a cracker, or he says, up yours, jackass, you know, and starts biting them, you know, and they roughly hold him and clips his wings so he doesn't fly no more, and this is how it ends up how he's in the basement in the cage, you know. So by the end, Tony Shalhoub listens to the whole story, you know, so he decides to break out of his cage, you know, and starts looking for the address where Marie's address, you know, which they find it, you know, which he knew, like I said before, he knew all along where the guy knew where Marie is, but never told him, so he found the address, you know, and the guy, Bruce, I was calling the actor's name, Bruce Davison, finds him. He's like, "What is he doing here?" You know, I'm taking him home. You know, he belongs here. No, he's not. He belongs to a little girl. You know, and he's like, "Who are you anyway?" I am, I am Misha. You know, and he's like, "You are a coward." Well, you are. What was it? He said two things. You are I think it was like liar and a coward, you know. So he tries to sneak out Paulie, but then security comes in, goes in this room where all the animals are in cages, you know. Locks the door so they couldn't get in because he like keeps the key in the door, you know. And they try to break out this window where it has all this like fenced in stuff though, so they manage to like move it just a little bit out so they can get out. But Paulie wants to free all these animals from these cages, which he does, and then they get out of the window, and then they go where Maria's new home is, and then which he sees a little girl, which he thought was Maria, but really enough, Marie, sorry, not Maria, Marie is actually now a full-grown woman, which now we realize he's been at he's been all this time. It's been years since he's seen, you know. Years have gone by, really enough, which he didn't know though. So he didn't realize that Maria is now an adult, you know. And which she's a little shocked that Maria is now an adult. He's like, no, go away, you know. She's trying to tell her, it's okay, I'm just grown up, you know. And then Marie starts singing the song, and which probably sounds like, really, it's really you, you know, the song that they sang together, you know, used to sing together. And, which he said, oh, he can fly? But his wings were clipped. No, it's okay, they grow back, you know, with all birds, their wings will grow back after they've been clipped, you know. And he starts flying around the sky. It's like, woohoo, you know. And um, and then Maria invites Misha into her home, you know. Um, so after all that, like I said, Maria invites Misha into his home, and they all go back inside the house, and that's basically the end of the movie, you know. So yeah, I like Paulie. It's a good family film of the late '90s, you know, which I would agree with. I would say I would agree with this from the Los Angeles Times. Perfect family film. On the back here, you know, most well, I probably would say disagree on this one. The most enchanting family film since Babe. I would disagree. I do like Babe better though, because you know Babe is it's a classic, you know. So I would disagree on that part though. I do think Babe is much better than Paulie though. But regardless, I do like Paulie though. I would still say that Babe is much better than Paulie though, but I still like Paulie, you know. Jay Mohr, who does voices Paulie, does a good job. Even I would say he does more of a good job than he plays for his human character in the film though, because he's only a minor part. He's in like one scene in the beginning, and then more towards towards the end, the middle, you know. But I would say he does more of a good job of voicing Paulie than his human character in the film itself, you know. But he does a good job as Paulie. Tony Shalhoub, of course he's not much in it because most of the movie's one big flashback though. But whenever he's in there, he does good, you know, decent, you know, because I like him as an actor. So he does a decent enough job, you know. Especially well because he's playing a Russian immigrant with a fake Russian accent, you know. But he does a decent job though. So Tony Shalhoub, he does a decent job. The other actors, you know, for the characters, the old lady, Gena Rowlands, she was alright, you know. You know, would you consider like if you look at this, she's like considered like the lead here, you know, the first before Tony Shalhoub is. But she was fine. She was okay there. And for those of you who hear, that's a dog barking, so don't mind, so ignore that. Then the other minor characters like Cheech Marin, Buddy Hackett, they were there. Bill Cobbs, they were there as well. Bruce Davison, you know, and especially the girl who played the little girl Marie, she was fine. It's also towards the end the adult Marie. So the cast, overall the whole cast does a decent job, you know. So the score by John Debbie, who I know he's done scores on a lot of films, which mostly I remember from The Relic, you know. But the score was decent, you know. So overall, I like Paulie. I would give it a good thumbs up, you know. And the ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, I think that's a decent enough scores on those ratings, I would say, you know. But I would still prefer watch Babe better, so I would still prefer Babe over this though. But I still like Paulie, you know. It's a good family film of the late '80s, you know. Not '80s, late '90s. Didn't mean to say '80s. So overall, I like Paulie. So if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. See for yourself, you know. So yeah, for once I'm drinking a root beer here. You know, just for change, you know. But Paulie, thumbs up. So if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. So yeah. Anyway, that's my review for Paulie. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.